In the last session, we discussed about the what is the path of a charged particle in a magnetic field. So we observed that the path of the charged particle in the magnetic field is helical path. So here the helical path is due to the both components, that is perpendicular component velocity and parallel component velocity. Due to perpendicular component velocity, the path of the charged particle is the circular path, and due to parallel charge velocity component, the path of the charged particle is linear. When both these velocity components are combined, now the path of the charged particle in the magnetic field is nothing but the helical path. In the helical path, we derived some terms. The terms are radius of the helical path, next frequency of the charged particle in that path, next time period to complete one cycle, and next we derived what is the pitch. Pitch is nothing but the linear distance, how much distance it is traveled. Okay, so now in this session we are going to discuss about the velocity selector and Biot-Savart's law. Before going to know about the velocity selector, first you need to know about what is the motion of the charged particle whenever electric and magnetic fields both are combined. Last class I explained, but once again see this. This is the important to know about the velocity selector, that is motion in combined electric and magnetic field. See here, I am going to consider the electric field and magnetic field both are perpendicular to each other. That is, here I consider x and y axis. Here x axis represent with the unit vector I cap, y axis represent with the unit vector j cap. And also assume the velocity is perpendicular to both electric field and magnetic field, that is on z axis. This is the z axis, x axis, y axis and z axis. On z axis it is taken as k cap. Now we are assuming that velocity, electric field and magnetic field all are perpendicular to each other. So that is, first I take the electric field on x axis and magnetic field on y axis, and velocity vector of the charged particle is on z axis. Okay, so that is E bar is equal to E along I cap, that is along x direction. B bar is equal to B along j cap, that is along y axis direction. V bar is equal to V along k cap, that is along z axis direction. We are assuming like that. Now when charged particle is placed here, what is the net force due to the Lorentz force equation? The net force due to Lorentz force equation is nothing but Q into, that is force due to electric field plus force due to magnetic field. Means when electric and magnetic fields are taken, the force acting on the charged particle due to the both magnetic fields are force due to electric field plus force due to magnetic field. What is the force due to electric field? That is Q into E bar plus due to magnetic field is Q into V bar cross B. Okay, now in this you have to know about what is V bar cross B bar. V bar cross B bar is nothing but here I cap, j cap, k cap. V bar is 0, 0, V. B bar is 0. B bar is only along y direction. So B 0. By simplifying this one, we obtain I cap into minus VB. J cap into 0, K cap into 0. Finally, V bar plus B bar is equal to minus VB I cap. Substituting here, we obtain the net force is equal to Q into E bar I cap plus Q into, what is the V bar cross B bar? minus VB I cap. So finally we are going to take Q as common. By taking Q as common, E bar minus, means no need to take E bar, E minus VB along which direction? I cap direction. So this is the net force acting on a charge when it is placed in a combining electric and magnetic field, that is Q into E minus VB I cap. Now from this what we observe, that is net force is equal to Q into E I cap minus Q into VB I cap. This Q into E I cap is electric force, QVB I cap is nothing but a magnetic force. So when a charged particle is placed in the combined electric and magnetic fields, then the electric force is acting along the I cap direction and magnetic force is acting along negative I cap direction. So this is the electric force along I cap, this is the magnetic force along negative I cap. So this is the combined effect of the electric and magnetic field on a charged particle which is placed. Here the net force is, electric field is along, electric force is acting along positive x direction, magnetic force is acting along negative x direction. Here we are taking electric field and magnetic field, both are perpendicular to each other. That fields can be called as crossed fields. Crossed fields means electric field and magnetic field both are perpendicular to each other. This concept can be used in the velocity selector. Okay. Our next concept is velocity selector. Now we are going to study about what is velocity selector. This is important 2 mark question. What is the velocity selector? Before going to know about velocity selector, we have to know about what is the meaning of crossed fields. Here crossed fields is nothing but electric field and magnetic field perpendicular to each other, that can be called as crossed fields. That is, here on x-axis we take the electric field, on y-axis we take the magnetic field. This type of field can be called as crossed fields. Now this crossed field concept is very much useful in the velocity selector. So here what is the velocity selector? The velocity selector is nothing but it is used to identify the charges which are moving with the same velocity. The velocity selector is used to identify the charges with the same velocity. Here velocity selector is used to identify the charges which are moving with same velocity or particular velocity. If you want to get a particular velocity of a charged particle, in that place we are going to use this velocity selector. From that we identify a particular velocity of a charged particle. So here how we are going to identify that particular velocity of the charged particle. So for that we are going to use the previous concept. What is the previous concept? Whenever a charged particle is placed in a electric and magnetic field, both are combined, in that we identify what is the force acting on that. So by using that expression we are going to take the principle of the velocity selector. Here we know that the net force in the crossed fields is, here crossed fields means electric field and magnetic field both are perpendicular to each other. Then a charged particle is placed. Now the net force is nothing but Q into E minus VB into I cap. Okay na? Now here how this formula can be used for velocity selector, that is when force is equal to, the net force is equal to 0, if what happened, if the net force is equal to 0, that is you can take Q into E minus VB is equal to 0. From that, E minus VB equal to 0, that is V is equal to E by V. So what about this one? This is known as velocity. If the velocity of a charged particle is equal to E by V, then the net force acting on the charged particle is 0. When net force acting on the charged particle is 0 means the charged particle does not undergo any deflection. It is not affected by electric and magnetic fields, hence it is moving with along a constant direction. So for example, if the net force is not equal to 0, when the net force is not equal to 0, then what happened? Due to electric and magnetic fields, the charged particles are not moving in the particular direction. Those are going to take the deflected and it takes the helical path. But whenever the force is equal to 0, meaning of that one, there is no deflection, means no net force acting on the charged particle. Due to that, it does not taking any deflection. So based on that, we are going to take the velocity selector. See here, I gave a good example, that is when you take a light is incident in electric and magnetic field, it does not deflect, means it is having a particular direction. So good example for the velocity of the means, good example for the charged particle which are moving without deviation can be taken as electromagnetic waves. Those are nothing but light, that is we studied in the 8th chapter. But remember, the velocity equal to ratio of electric field by magnetic field, then the charged particle does not deflect. So based on that, we are going to identify a particular velocity charged particle, that is known as the velocity selector. See the velocity selector, that is here I consider this is plus and minus represent electric fields, and here it is cross is representing the magnetic field. Here what is the meaning of that one? The cross represent the magnetic field is acting into the board. So here, for example, this finger is representing the magnetic field. This is into the board. Now this is the direction of the electric field. Now magnetic field and electric field both are perpendicular to each other. Now I take some pair of charged particles, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here I take the first charged particle is entered. When it is entered, it is deflected, means if the velocity is not equal to E by V, then it is deflected and it is take the path that is known as the helical path. And for example, if we consider this is the path of the first particle, if the second particle is there, if the velocity of second particle is equal to E by V, then what happened? The second particle is not deflected, so it is directly taken this path. If you take the third particle, if the third particle velocity is not equal to E by V, then it is taken certain helix path. If you take the fourth particle, if the fourth particle velocity is also equal to E by V, then it also follow the second particle path, that is does not having any deflection. So from that we are going to identify the particles which are moving with the same velocity. And here when we observe, the particle 1 and 3 is having a different helical path. So here that helical path is depend upon the velocity of that particle. We already derived the what is the radius of the helical path. Depend upon the radius of the helical path, means that radius of helical path is depend upon the velocity of that particle. We know that. So that is nothing but here mv square by r q vb. From the velocity can be taken as, means radius of the path can be taken as m into v by qv. This is the radius of the helical path. So depend upon this velocity, the particles are taken different helical paths. But if velocity of second particle and fourth particle are equal to E by B. Due to that reason, those are the force acting on those particle is zero. Due to that, they does not deflected. They moving in a linear direction. But whereas if the velocity is not equal to E by B, then those particles are deviate or deflects to electric and magnetic field, and those are taken different helical paths. That helical paths are depend upon the velocity of those particles. If velocity of any particle is more, then its radius of helical path will be more. But if the velocity is equal to E by B, remember this is an important term. Velocity is equal to charged particle velocity is equal to electrical field by magnetic field. Then the net force acting on the charged particle is zero. Due to that, it does not taking any deflection. So like that, we are going to identify the particular velocity of charged particle. So this can be called as a velocity selector. So finally, we conclude that the velocity selector is used to identify the charged particles which are moving with the same velocities. That is the application of the velocity selector. Next, we find magnetic field due to different types of the arrangements of the conductors. Like that, we find what is the magnetic field due to a straight current carrying conductor, what is the magnetic field due to a circular coil, what is the magnetic field due to the solenoid, toroid. So for that, we have to know about a rule. That rule is nothing but Biot-Savart's law. The Biot-Savart's law is used to find magnetic field due to different shapes of the conductor. Here I am going to define what is the Biot-Savart's law. This is important 2-mark question. First, I am going to consider some terms here. Here I consider it is a current carrying conductor. It does not have any particular shape. We can take any shape here. This is a current carrying conductor. XY is a current carrying conductor. Okay, now the current flowing through the conductor is nothing but I amperes, and I want to find what is the magnetic field at point B, which is at a distance r from a infinitesimal current element, which is length is dl, where dl is the length of current carrying conductor element. Means I take the total length of conductor. From that I consider only a small portion. That portion can be called as a current carrying conductor element. Due to that current carrying conductor element, it produces a magnetic field at a point P, that is known as dB. dB is the small magnetic field due to the small length of the current carrying conductor. So from that, we are going to take the Biot-Savart's law. The Biot-Savart's law will given what is the magnetic field at point P due to this current carrying element. If you take any particular shape, you apply the integration, that will give the total magnetic field. So first, according to Biot-Savart's law, we are going to write what is the magnetic field due to the current carrying element at the point P. Here XY is the current carrying conductor, I is the current flowing through the conductor, dl is the element which we consider a small portion of the conductor, r is the distance between current element and point P, and here theta is the angle between the current carrying conductor element and the distance. Now based on this, the magnetic field according to Biot-Savart's law can be defined as it is directly proportional to, that is the magnetic field is directly proportional to current flowing through the, according to Biot-Savart's law, the magnetic field at point P is directly proportional to the current flowing through the conductor, and also directly proportional to the current element dl, and also directly proportional to the sign of the angle between current element and distance vector, and that magnetic field is inversely proportional to square of the distance between current element and point P. Here the Biot-Savart's law can be defined as the magnetic field due to a current element at a point P is directly proportional to current flowing through the conductor and directly proportional to that current element, comma, directly proportional to sine of the angle between current element and the distance vector, and inversely proportional to square of the distance between current element and point P. So this is known as the Biot-Savart's law. Finally, we are going to write this expression is the magnetic field at point P dB is equal to is directly proportional to IDL sin theta, because it is directly proportional to I, directly proportional to DL, directly proportional to sin theta by square by r square, that is inversely proportional to square of the distance. So this is the statement of the Biot-Savart's law. According to Biot-Savart's law, magnetic field at point P dB is directly proportional to current through conductor, directly proportional to length of current element, directly proportional to sine of the angle between current element and distance vector, and inversely proportional to square of the distance between current element and point P. Here that dB is directly proportional to IDL sin theta by r square. It is also written as dB is equal to mu naught by 4 pi I dl sin theta by r square. So this is the final expression of the Biot-Savart's law, where mu naught is the permeability of, in electric fields we have epsilon naught, that is permittivity of free space. Here mu naught is permeability of free space or vacuum. Remember, there epsilon naught is there, that is the permittivity of free space. Here mu naught is permeability of free space. Here the mu naught value is 4 pi into 10 power minus 7 Henry per meter, that is 8.825 into 10 power minus 12 farad per meter, that is the epsilon naught value. Here permeability mu naught is 4 pi into 10 power minus 7 Henry per meter. Now this expression is also written as d, here magnetic field is a vector, dB bar is equal to mu naught by 4 pi into I into dl bar cross sin theta, ideal into 1 into sin theta, that 1 is nothing but unit vector r cap. Here how to write unit vector? Unit vector is equal to r bar by magnitude r. Substituting, the final expression is d bar is equal to mu naught by 4 pi into idl bar cross r cap is unit vector is nothing but r bar by magnitude of r bar, ideal bar cross r bar by r cube. This is also another expression in case of the vector form. This is the direct form, this is vector form. Here it is ideal into 1 into sin theta we write. That 1 can be written as unit vector. Okay? So this is the expression for Biot-Savart's law in direct form and in vector form. Ideal cross r bar by r cube. Okay? So this is about Biot-Savart's law. In the next session, we derive what is the magnetic field due to a straight current carrying conductor and what is the magnetic field due to a circular coil. Thank you.